Hello and welcome to Protan's new podcast. We have the pleasure to gather some really interesting guests here today, and we are going to hopefully crash some myths about plastics. At Protan, we believe it's a really valuable material that we use in our long-lasting products and that are truly sustainable. Together in the studio today, I have my great colleague Lars, who's heading the R&D division in Protan, and our guest of honor is Kjetil, who is the CEO of Norner, really high competent environment within plastics. So welcome especially to you, Kjetil.
Oh, thank you very much, Thomas. It's a pleasure to be here and to be invited to Protan and this podcast. I'm quite impressed actually that you bring up the topic with plastic and sustainability. I think there are, not many that really dare to talk about it these days. So I think the voice that you bring into this industry is so important. So thank you very much. I look forward to the discussions today.
So do we. So I think the discussion around plastics and PVC is really polarized and for the wrong reasons, really. It's about headliners and clickbait and really simple points. It often boils down to talking about straws, about plastic bags, about recycling systems that doesn't work, etc. And of course these are material problems, but it really takes away the focus on what we really should be talking about: how plastics can be used in a good way, in a long-lived way, etc. And this is, I think, where we're gonna try and head this discussion today.
I totally agree, Thomas. I think that plastic has a very undeserved reputation today. I think if you look around in your daily life, I don't think you can live without plastics. But for me, it's important to use plastics where it can make a difference, for the right purpose. And not maybe that we did in the past for almost everything, and that maybe that's the wrong way to do it. So for me, look at the metal world, because nobody's using silver for the wrong purpose or steel for the wrong purpose. They use the right material, and I think that should also be the way we use plastics today.
And to follow up that, because it's a great point. I mean, for example, we make roofing membranes that replace copper, which was used on roofs before. And I've worked with recycling copper, and it's a precious metal, and you should use it for electrification and renewable energy, not for protecting or waterproofing. So this is where we come in, and with long-lived plastic products, green roofs that looks like copper, made beautifully with a cheaper material and a better purpose.
Absolutely, absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah. I think that plastics it's so versatile, and because of its versatility, it also becomes its weakness, because as you are alluding to, it's kind of being overused in the wrong places, and then we have a problem, because then people have just been thinking short term and not considered like the proper design and proper use of chemical additives and so on. And then we have kind of run into things where plastics shouldn't have been used in that way. And of course that's a lot to do with the short-lived products, because if you go to the long-lived products, which you finding buildings, infrastructure, so and so, you can really see the benefit of plastics and see how it kind of outcompetes metals and other materials.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
No, but I mean, I think having worked with lots of different materials in my past career in the recycling industry, I think the knowledge about material in general is rather low, I would claim. When it comes to plastics, just as you said earlier, it's all put in one bag. It's looked at one material, but in the essence, it's a wide range for different applications. And when we're just talking about the problems of misuse or plastics in the oceans, which definitely is a problem, these nuances get lost in the debate. And this is we need to be a bit more thorough and actually go under the headlines. That's certainly a problem where we are in the current debate, I think.
I totally agree. I think the bad reputation again with plastic is very much how people are using and misusing it to a large extent. I think using it, wasting it in the ocean, polluting. I think we are not doing that with the other materials to the same extent. So it's a bit, and we see that is resulting in a really bad reputation for the material as such. Very few people talk about the big advantages where it's hard to replace the plastics. Like Lars mentioned also, for durable, long life applications, it's in the roofing, building applications, pipe, cable. It's impossible to find, let's say, replacement as such. And they do a job for maybe more than 30, 40, and even longer years. What we are connecting with the bad reputation is cheap toys, single-use plastics, these kind of things, which creates the bad reputation, as I see it.
And tunnel membranes are approved for 120 years.
Exactly.
Years.
And pipe for more than 200.
Yes, exactly. Who can beat that?
I can beat that.
I actually miss the focus on European industry. Right now we hear so much about Europe and that Europe needs to reinvigorate itself. And the backbone is actually the industrial revolution and the high energy-intensive industries in Europe. The chemical industry, the plastics industry is part of that. And that struggles now. And I think I miss that in the debate. That actually something is happening like places in the EU system now, and I really support it and want to see more of it. I think for us being like a continent with no industry future is something that we will deeply miss when it's lost or if it's lost, because then it will be difficult to get it back.
I totally agree. I think that if you go only 5-6 years back when we had the Corona time, I think that was really an indication how vulnerable we are on the supply. And at that time we managed to do it, and by the support from Europe. But if we are now moving away all the production from Europe and to other continents, I think that would be even more challenging. So it's to secure the chemical industry and the value chains for the future is one of the key things. And that is not only roofing membranes, it's all segments basically.
Absolutely. And you know, with that perspective, if we don't have the industry to the manufacturing industry in Europe, the demand for recycled plastics that we definitely are for will also vanish, because no industry, nowhere for the recycled materials to go. But I also think, Lars, what you're alluding to here when it comes to value creation, employment, etc., that the two companies represented here, Protan and Norner, are fantastic examples of Norwegian-based companies that have different ways into plastics. In Protan, we make long-lived, durable products for 50 years. You said 120 years. Lars, we make it with circular input, our own scrap, previous membranes. We even do it with boat fenders and other kind of scrap in the future. And we grew from, you know, before the war to an international exporting company to basically all around the world. Today we're one of the largest producers of membranes in Europe. So it's an important industry to keep in Europe as well, and there's so much value in having it locally, not only directly but the indirect values I'm talking about. I don't know, Kjetil, you have a really competence environment down in southern Norway. I've been happy to visit it before, but I mean, how do you attract the right people to come to Porsgrunn and stay there and make your business thrive even further?
And luckily that is not a huge challenge. It's quite, I think we are attracting people from all over the world. We have 15 different nationalities working in Norner. So more than 25% of the workforce is actually non-Norwegian. And then come to Norway and then come to Norner because we can offer something special. There is one of the few organizations or companies in the world working with plastics and the level that we do. So we are working worldwide, more than 60 countries around the world, and help them with circular solutions. And that is very attractive for people around the world because they can do something which is meaningful. So, and I'm happy to see people coming from Brazil, coming from Iran, coming from other countries with their families, and they stay. That is fantastic. And that is also supporting the Norwegian industry. Because we are almost in the neighborhood of Protan. So
that's right, and it's funny because we kind of do the opposite. I mean, we've been in Norway since the 30s, but now we're creating new factories, new employment in countries such as Turkey, in Britain, in Spain. We have lots of people on the ground in Poland. So you know, the local heritage is a part of our DNA, but we take it out and we accommodate to the market and the people. So this is for me, who had just started here in Protan, this was a very attractive feature of the company. And but Lars, you have been to his laboratory down in Porsgrunn. I'm sure you're impressed by their knowledge and their equipment, I guess as well.
It's amazing. I think you have more than 100 employees, and they are highly skilled, and they are like they can go into anywhere in the world, like any arena, and contribute well. And we also appreciate the kind of equipment you have, because the point is that actually we see that in Protan as well, that we are not as many as you on the R&D department, but we are kind of trying to do the same. That everything we do is kind of built on research and being fact-based. And then in order to do that, then you need equipment, because you need to do the proper measurements to get the data and turn data into something meaningful. And that's actually super important in this conversation we're having today, because plastics, you know, there are all these myths around. So we need to kind of continue that way, to work with with a scientific approach. And get the data on the table and look at what is the best way forward for all of us. And by the way, plastics is a very interesting material to work with from a scientific point of view, because it's so extremely complex. So many things that can happen with it, and the supply chain is totally global. And on that note, it's fascinating to see how Norway has managed to position ourselves during that time, actually. So that's really interesting. And I think actually that we also can benefit from, for instance, that we have more renewable power and things like that in Norway. So we can kind of continue being like strong on the green side for our materials and our solutions.
The point of collaboration, I think, is a good one. And you said you're helping businesses becoming more and more circular. And I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of products and material streams and in the development of circularity. And one common denominator is always that you need collaboration among what I would call willing partners, the partners that want to go in the same direction, that dare to share the vision. So this is really, and by this I mean developing circular solutions and future competitiveness. This is really a field where collaboration is vital, and where I believe, in Protan we have a lot of good stuff going on, but we definitely will need to seek partners to become more circular than we are today. We don't need to do all this ourselves, but we will be a pivotal part of the value chain.
That's important. I think we are in Norner today. We are working, I think about 80% of the revenue that we have is linked to circular solutions.
Fantastic.
And not only in the building and construction industry, but all over. And I think you learn from one segment to another. That is what the benefit by working with, I say, companies like Norner, because we build a certain generic competence. And I think also what Lars said is that I mean, when you're doing development and also, as I say, challenging your circularity, you need quite powerful instruments. And these are quite expensive to buy. So if you use them only once per year or something like, maybe that would be the case in Protan, that doesn't make sense. But it's available in the neighborhood in Norner. Then you have the instrument access. You also have the competence using it. So I think that is one of the benefits by having a strong partnership in Norway, for instance. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this conversation,
Thank
and
you.
I'm looking forward to the continuation. Hope you guys out there enjoyed this. We certainly did.